Although animes sometimes show us a great new family and friends, bringing together the strangest and most unique characters and having them work together against all odds, sometimes the best series have a main character that's a badass loner that doesn't need help from anybody. Welcome back to Animeology. Today, we shall be looking at our favourite animes with a cool, calm and collected badass MC that goes his own way and is a certifiable badass loner. Number 10. The King's Avatar. An extremely unique action-adventure series, The King's Avatar takes a very close look at the rapidly growing but seriously underrepresented world of esports. Absolutely rocking the anime world upon its release, the series has since led the development of a well-received film with more content on the way. The series itself is set in China and focuses on the esports scene, telling the story of Yi Zhu, a professional esports that was considered by many as one of the greatest players of all time and captain of a high-ranking team. One day forced to leave and resign from the team as he refused to take part in a shady marketing to profit the team, the series picks off with Yi Zhu living in the shadows of his former life, working as a night shift manager at an internet cafe. Planning his return to the competitive scene, this badass lone esports champ gets back to playing his signature game, slowly building his character from nothing and looking to surpass his previous all-time high and become the greatest player on the planet once again. Number 9. Yu Hakusho. Easily one of the biggest and most well-known series on this list, Yu Hakusho brings an awesome sense of adventure alongside a fun blend of martial arts and the supernatural. The fight scenes are really restrained and slick with the perfect use of its supernatural elements. After a few episodes, you'll know immediately why this is such a long-running and famous anime that is a must-watch for any serious anime fans, spawning multiple films, video games, and an entire entertainment franchise. The core plot itself follows Yusuke Uramishi, a 14-year-old troublemaker trying to save a small boy by pushing him out of the way of a speeding car. Yusuke is hit and meets a boat-on by the river Styx on the path to the underworld. It turns out that there is no place in heaven or hell made for him just yet, and his act of sacrifice was a legitimate surprise for the gods. Yusuke is offered a chance to return to the normal world and begin his new life as an underworld detective, solving strange supernatural activities in the human world. Number 8. Armored Trooper Totomos. A brilliant, dedicated mecha science fiction series, Totomos does not waste too much time with a romance or comedy or drama. The series itself has seen multiple reiterations since it was first created in the 1980s. With brilliant world building and some very strong lore behind it, Armored Trooper Totomos is a series that you need to check out. We learn of the nations of Gilgamesh and Baralant locked in a galactic war that has ravaged for hundreds of years, ending with a strange and messy truce. The main weapon used in this galactic war was the powerful Armored Trooper, a mecha-type humanoid combat vehicle with a single soldier piloting it. These Votoms are extremely powerful but also insanely dangerous, and pilots aren't expected to survive and come back home safe. The series follows Chiroko Kuvi, a Special Forces member that soon realizes that his latest mission drags him deep into a world of paranoia and conspiracy that could potentially cripple both empires and leave the entire universe in chaos. Hunted by both sides, there is almost nobody that Chiroko can trust, leaving our MC one of the most badass loner heroes you will ever come across. Number 7. Jobless Reincarnation. One of the bigger new animes out right now, Jobless Reincarnation brings one of the most polished isekai fantasy series we have ever come across. Not really looking to innovate, but rather delivers an insane level of perfection, there is a reason why Jobless Reincarnation made waves on its release. We meet a 34-year-old NEET that is evicted from his parents' home after they both die. Attempting to save some teenagers from a speeding truck, he's killed and wakes up in a baby's body in a magical world of swords and sorcery. This 34-year-old waste of space vows to forget the wasted years of his past life and aims to live a new life filled with adventures and joy. Forgetting his horribly sad life on Earth, he trains hard and becomes extremely skilled at magic. But disaster strikes and a horrible magical event destroys his new isekai realm, leading to murder, war, monster attacks, and powerful natural disasters. This badass MC has no choice but to find out what's really happening and try to save his new home, setting out on an epic journey across this new magical land. Number 6. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? An absolutely brilliant anime series that is definitely on the more light-hearted side, but is not afraid to take things a little more seriously when it needs to be. With a very strong fantasy background, this is a series that you definitely need to check out. It's an interesting world in which gods came down from the heavens seeking excitement, containing their insane powers and looking to experience the struggles and difficulties of being normal people. These gods began offering normal mortal people the chance to fight powerful monsters through a twisting and dangerous underground dungeon. These adventurers traverse these dungeons in search of rare treasures and powerful magical items. The story follows Belle Cranel, a solo adventurer that travels the dungeons for the powerful and beautiful goddess Hestia. The last remaining member of Hestia's familia, Belle works very hard. Although he is a badass loner, he can't help but attract the attention of a number of beautiful girls that idolize the lone adventurer that is determined to make it deeper and deeper into the most dangerous parts of the dungeon labyrinth. Number 5. Kaze no Stigma. A brilliant sense of action with a whirlwind romance that is really well done. Kaze no Stigma has a little something for everybody. Although there exists a fantastic anime series that you absolutely need to check out, the actual manga itself remains unfinished due to the unfortunate death of its highly talented and visionary creator. We follow Kazuma Kagane, a member of a noble and powerful magical family. However, he lacked the ability to use the family's blaze technique magical abilities and was shunned and considered useless. Regardless, his father insisted he fight for his reputation in order to wield the family blade, but the 18-year-old Kazuma was beaten by his 12-year-old cousin. Insulted and disgraced, Kazuma's father banished his son from the family. The story picks up 4 years later, with Kazuma returning as a master of an elusive wind technique, training all by himself as the true badass loner MC that he is. Number 4. Berserk. We try to recommend series that you probably haven't heard of, but you cannot say the world's badass and loner without mentioning the iconic Guts from one of the greatest anime series of all time, Berserk. A brilliantly epic dark fantasy tale set against the troubled world filled with magic and insanely big swords. Guts is the textbook definition of badass loner in anime. A lone mercenary, Guts has born from the hanging corpse of his mother and was raised as a mercenary by an adopted father, a father that he was forced to kill in self-defense. The Berserker series has a lot to draw from and has spread into multiple anime series, films, games, you name it, with Guts traveling this interesting medieval fantasy world all alone, with no one to trust but himself and a huge badass blade. With unique and well thought out arcs that take Guts on a number of extremely diverse and engaging story arcs. We've loved every single manga issue and every single anime episode of the series, and we guarantee that you will too. Number 3. Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
お兄ちゃんがママを探してやるからもう泣くな。本当？ああ。くたばれ！ロリコ変質者！
This is a series that really asks some very heavy questions through its strong focus as a psychological drama. With some interesting supernatural elements, Bunny Girl Senpai is an anime series that is quite unlike any other. Sakuta Azugawa lives a reasonably normal life until it takes a strange and unexpected turn when he meets an actress by the name of Mia Sakajima. Mia is dressed like a cute rabbit and is just walking through the library. The strange part is, nobody else can see her, and Mia also realizes that Sakuta is the only one that can actually see her. Even when she dresses normally and tries to get away from celebrity life, Sakuta is intrigued, and the two are slowly dragged together in a very interesting and emotionally driven series with extremely complex characters. Sakuta himself tries to avoid the company of others and got into a lot of trouble recently due to him getting in a fight and putting 3 people in hospital. Although he's a nice person, he can also be very blunt and honest, which comes across as pretty badass even though he is really quite a loner. Number 2. Haikyuu.
Had my eye on him! So how is he over here?
An absolutely phenomenal series that is a lot more light-hearted and comedic than most, but with some important lessons through every episode that follow our lone hero personal journey of determination and hardship with a generous helping of good laughs along the way. We follow Shoyo Hanita, a young high schooler that sees the national volleyball games on TV and become obsessed with the sport. Although he is a little short, that does not faze our badass MC that's determined to make it big. Although having no experience with the sport itself, Hanita is very athletic with an insane vertical jump. Joining up to the high school volleyball club, Hanita learns that he is the only member, and this poor loner spends the next 2 years just trying to convince other students to join up and come to practice. A sports anime at its core with some epic dedication and training. You'll be on the edge of your seat hoping that Hanita is able to overcome every huge hurdle in his path. A definite must-watch and a brilliant all-round series. And number 1, Great Pretender. A fantastic crime anime with a pretty interesting sense of humour, borderline surreal and strange with nothing quite like it. A relatively new anime series, but one that you should absolutely be checking out. The Great Pretender shows little sign of stopping and is widely considered one of the greatest crime thrillers to come out in recent times. A very unique core concept with completely separate and distinct story arcs with very little tying them up with one another. The Great Pretender is more than an anthology series than a traditional anime. Every single series arc is considered a case. So far, fans have closely followed cases across Los Angeles, Singapore, London, and the Far East. Extremely well made and well put together. A tight-knit story with a lot of hidden clues and tips that could have you solving the crimes and following the cons alongside their badass MC. Do yourself a favour and check out The Great Pretender.